good, man? It's your guy Fade, all the way from Baton Rouge, Louisiana, back with another episode. This time I switched it up here, man. I came to New Orleans, Louisiana.
Right.
I had to come holler at my guy Geedy P, man. Geedy P, what's good, man?
First of all, I want to tell you, I appreciate you taking your time to come down here because I couldn't make it down here for other reasons and all that. Call kind of messed up, is in shot right now, but I
Okay,
appreciate that you came down here to bring Tapton down here.
right.
Shout out to E and Mike behind the camera for, being able to put this together and stuff like that. So I appreciate you for coming from the 225 to the 504, whatever.
Man, no problem, man. We've been back and forth for a minute,
Right.
complimenting each other on the work and shit we
Right.
doing.
My
But I
brother even
felt
hit you up, I think, from prison.
your brother here,
You
yeah,
know,
actually he did. So that's how I was already kind of, seeing what you was doing.
Right.
But your brother reached out to me and was like, man, shit, tap in with my brother, you know what I'm saying? So at first I thought it was a fake page.
Right.
I was like, how a nigga from jail hit me up, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
I say, man, G would have just hit me himself. So
Right.
I left it alone like the first time he hit.
Right.
But like when I ended up hitting back and, it was legit.
Yeah.
And, we've been back and forth since then trying to make this shit happen. But I reached out to you this week. I see you had ruffled some feathers down in Baton Rouge.
Right.
And a couple of niggas reached, they were speaking on it. We're going to get into that too.
Right.
But, man, Tapped In Podcast, man, we're glad to have you on.
Mm.
I'm finna get into your story and, we're
Right.
going to break it down. So let me get, first off, you from New Orleans.
Yeah.
What part of New Orleans you from?
Well, I grew up all over. They didn't talk about where you was born in, so I was born in the Tremay area. That's on my birth certificate. That's the 6th ward.
Okay.
We was on Section 8, so we moved a lot. So we moved a lot between the East and the 7th ward a lot. So I might be living in the 7th ward, the East, but that's the two places I really feel like shaped me. And I kind of gravitate more towards Tyra Lane. I don't know if y'all remember the song. So Slim made on Streets Made Me album that came out in 2001. It's called My Jacket. And he said 95 I ran on Tyra Lane and Busta Brain.
Right.
But Tyra Lane, the main street I rep, we only really lived around there 2 years, but I still kept going to school in the East. So even when I was living downtown in the 7th ward, I still was going to school at Livingston and Averson. So everybody from New Orleans know that Abe and Livingston is two schools that was in the East. So even when I was downtown, so I kind of repped the 7th ward in the East. So yeah, I lived in the East.
You from downtown, or you from the East, you grew up over there. I want to know what age you got into like hip hop and music.
I always did like music. My older brother, like about 7 years older than me, he always did like bring me when he was going to Gimmick Records. I was on Paris Avenue in the 7th ward at a store called 3S's, a corner store, like a convenience store. Yeah. And they had a store called Gimmick Records. You could go get shit to cook up. You could find a triple beam in there. You could go get your tapes, Too Short, UGK, some fucking Spice One, whatever you want to get Pac. And he was always letting me hear a lot of his music. So me and my brother play rap music. I fell in love with hip hop like that. Then my daddy, a singer. Okay. My dad used to be in a group called the Mystics. And they had different variations of the group over the years, like most soul groups do. But he was one of the original lead singers and stuff like that. He sang like Smokey Robinson and Michael Jackson. He used to be in a group with Lil Yacht uncle, Lil Yacht from UNLV.
Yeah.
His uncle was in a group with him too and all that. So I used to always watch like video music soul, video music box, Apollo and all that. My dad loved music and boxing. So him listening to a lot of the Miracles, Manhattans and all that, and then my brother listened to a lot of rap. It made me fall in love with hip hop. So I always been into it since then. And then when I really started taking it serious, like me doing it, it's like when I was like about to get out of high school, because I always wanted to play. I played football. I always wanted to be like Deion Sanders. That was like the first person I really like admired that was famous on TV, Deion Sanders. Then over the years, I always did like rap, like Master P, Birdman and Slim. Shout out to Stunner for the Jacket. Damon Dash, Diddy, Irv Gotti, a lot of them. So that made me want to do the music executive side.
Right.
But I got into it with my brother that went to prison, kind of like Jay Prince with his brother. Jay Prince's brother was named Sir Rap. Like he was trying to keep his brother out of trouble, so he tried to start a record label. I did that with my brother. Unfortunately, he still wound up going to prison.
Right.
But I liked what Boosie and Weber was doing. So I had a friend and my brother that was doing the rap stuff or whatever. And Lil Flip used to freestyle a lot. So I'm like, man, I'm going to get some equipment for my student loan.
Yeah.
I'm going to get it and I'm going to start helping y'all do music because I like how Boosie and Weber was like doing what they was doing. I felt like them two could do that because they were popping X pills around the time like when Baton Rouge was going crazy with the pills and rapping all night on the pills and shit.
So you mentioned Boosie and Weapon. You mentioned you could go to the record store, find your music, and you want to take a student loan and get equipment and shit. So at this point, you call yourself like a music historian.
Some people say that or whatever and all. I mean, I just love hip hop and all. Like I said, getting Double XL magazines, Source Vibe, Word Up magazines, just like reading all these magazines, just like studying and stuff. Watching, like you said, Video Music Box, BET, MTV, like anything, just to like, learn about hip hop and reading the back of the, CD covers and all that stuff. So yeah.
So how did that work out for you? Like trying to get your people to rap and
Well, I mean, it worked out. Like I said, I was doing the stuff. My family at first, when I got a little equipment at first, but then after Hurricane Katrina, I got more equipment. Okay. So then I was able to get when Katrina hit, we went to Atlanta. So my mom was like, we done been to Houston before on vacation. We never been to Atlanta. I used to want to move to Atlanta when I was younger because I was a big fan too of Outkast. Right. I always loved Andre 3000. I was a fan of Chris Tucker too because my brother is in prison. We was always like real funny. So people looked at us like the Wayans brothers at Livingston. We all had a sense of humor. So when everybody going to the library, going to lunch at Livingston, I'm going to the library. I'm reading about Flip Wilson, Richard Pryor, Eddie Murphy, and stuff like that. Right. And watching Def Comedy Jam and all that. So I was infatuated with like Chris Tucker, like I said, and stuff. So we wanted to move to Atlanta, but we didn't go. So when Katrina hit, my mom was like, we're going to go to Atlanta. So we went out there. I wound up getting some money from a lawsuit and some other ways I had got some money. And I bought like a Phantom, an MPC 2500, all these type of computers, Norman mics and all that. So I was doing the music stuff with my brother and stuff like that, but they was still in the streets doing all kind of shit. And he wound up going to prison. So that kind of, and then I wound up going to college again in Alabama. And my cousin had a record label. My cousin that passed away, he told my other cousin that owns 0 to 60, like, man, we need to get Geedy to come help with the music because he'd be studying Puff and, Master P and Birdman and all them, and Turk and Mel, J Prince, all of them. He could be an asset to what you're doing. Right. So I wound up going over there. And that's how I kind of work with him in the A&R part, doing the stuff like that over there for a while, the A&R department. Okay, so you consider yourself also as, I know you work with BTY Young before he passed. You consider yourself like more of a manager or A&R? Well, to me, I got both skills because a great manager could do A&R stuff. Like Puff could do all of it. When he was at Uptown Records, he was an A&R, then he managed Biggie until he got fired, and then he had to start Bad Boy with Biggie. But I would say I do both of them because the A&R is artist with repertoire. You grab the music and put the artists with the right producers and give them direction. A manager usually manages what you got going on. So usually they make money when you got some money to make some money off. But if you ain't got any managers, like, what is our manager? You ain't got no motion. Yeah. But I feel like I just wear a lot of different hats. But I knew somebody had to do that because everybody won't rap, but nobody won't take care of business. Kind of like how Babyface L.A. Reid was. They was in a deal. Babyface like making songs and singing, but he don't like taking care of business. L.A. Reid was a good drummer, but he knew somebody had to help get the band their songs out there. Right. So L.A. Reid took that role. So I felt like I was going to do that because even when I was in high school, I went to same high school as Jacoby Jones that played for the Baltimore Ravens, and I used to help the guys at my high school get recruited. Right. So I was getting football questionnaires because my cousin Charlie at the Cali Project, he was like highly, highly recruited around the same time, like right after Skylar Green that went to LSU and played for Higgins. And I remember he used to get the football questionnaires to his house on Tyra Lane, and I used to call the football departments up at LSU, Florida State, Akron, USC, and I said, send me one. Then the lady sent me one. Then I was like, well, could you send me 10 next week? And she'll send 10. I'm giving them out to everybody at school. So I'm helping people get recruited and doing like sports management when I was just in high school. So I always knew how to like take charge and just organize stuff and like be kind of behind the scenes and stuff. Okay. So with you doing all that, give me like some backstories. Like, well, matter of fact, I want to hear one of your favorite artists and tell me like one of your favorite songs since you like deep into hip hop. You talking about like the artists that I work with, or you just talking about your favorite, like one of your favorite artists? I love Tupac a lot. I love Jay-Z. I think that Tupac just know how to just rap about things that could just touch your soul. I think that's why people like Boosie love him and T.I. and Young Jeezy, because Pac, by his mama being with the Black Panthers, his stepfather, Matula Shakur, his godmother and all that stuff like that, Asada Shakur, like all these people instilled these things in him as a youth. So when he got older, it was in his music, but he could make you feel him. That's why he used to always say, "Can you feel me?" So I just felt like Pac was fly.
Right.
He just was disruptive. He was a rebel. Same thing with Jay-Z. I felt like Jay was a good hustler. He had a conversational flow and a lot of things in New Orleans. We like a lot of New York stuff. So that's why you might see a lot of dudes in New Orleans. Like we like to wear Timbs. We love State Prop. We love Paid in Full movie. Like everybody say Son. That's some shit that got popular in Brooklyn. You got Son, you got Dunn, that's Queensbridge where Nas from. You got McGawd, that's like Queens. Yeah. So it's certain things that we might pull from other places, that we like, but we drip a lot of sauce too in New Orleans. But that's some things that I liked about Rockefeller and just like.
So you mentioned Jay and Pac. Mm-hmm. Give me your top 3 rappers.
My top 3 rappers, it'll be Pac, Jay-Z, and to be honest, bro, I like T.I. a lot. It probably be T.I. DMX that I really like, whatever.
So give me your top 3 producers.
My top 3 producers would be, like in hip-hop, it'd be Manny Fresh, Dr. Dre, and who else I really like a lot? Dr. Dre, Manny Fresh. Man, there's so many of them. I don't want to miss nobody. I'm gonna have to go on, Dr. Dre, Manny Fresh, and I like Kanye a lot too, because I liked it when he had those soul beats and stuff. Like when he bought those soul beats to Rockefeller, I feel like they helped change Rockefeller whole sound and stuff. Just Blaze did this thing too, but I feel like Kanye and Jay-Z with those soul beats, because I was a big Rockefeller fan, so I'm gonna say that. Okay. I still rock with KLC and Beats by the Pound though, but I love Rockefeller too.
So recently I seen you interviewed Master P.
Right.
So how that interview come about to even happen?
I had been, I did interviews with Baby before on Instagram and stuff like that, and I had been supposed to do stuff with P, but I had finally got a time that they just finally want to do it or whatever, but I had already had a relationship with Juggy. So Juggy that was on Q93 and Fat Fat and all that, that's his manager and stuff like that, and one of his business partners. And, Juggy saw me being consistent over the years and never giving up, and he knew how much P even influenced me, just like Baby did too. Like I said, Stunner, gave me this jacket as a gift and stuff like that. So I looked up to both of them, and a lot of people kept on acting like, man, you can't rock with Master P because you rock with Baby or whatever and all that, and you rock with Baby and them. So the Cali, I'm like, but I'm not from Uptown, so why they make it like I gotta pick it? Nipsey could like them, why I couldn't? So it was just good that people was like, man, we all like Cash Money No Limit. If you from here, they inspire not only us but a lot of people. And Juggy put it together, and the interview doing real, real good or whatever. And a lot of people like it. They feel like I went deep into his childhood. Right. They found out things about him they never knew. So that's because I'm a student. I read a lot of books on him, and I listened to a lot of his music, and even his logo. Come from Master P or whatever. This is the logo of his 1994 album, The Ghetto Trying to Kill Me.
Right. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I seen the interview doing nice on the net.
Full interview out now,
I've been running across it a lot. So salute to you for even getting that opportunity.
Right.
So the opportunity like that, and one with like I seen you interviewing Stunner in the midst of like shit being heated with him and like Turk and them, right?
Right.
So I'm gonna ask you, my first question is, when you get that kind of opportunity to get somebody as big as Stunner, do you kind of get excited? You know what I'm saying? Because I know people in your aura and stuff, you don't really show too much emotion.
Right.
But I mean, it gotta mean something to you.
Of course, I mean, it mean a lot. It was definitely flattering, but I've been talking to him so long because, like I said, the way Stunner got on me is because he said BTY Youngin that I used to manage, Youngin told him a lot of good stuff about me. So even when me and Young weren't working together no more, Youngin still talked good about me to him. Yeah. So I already had a relationship with Baby way before I interviewed him. So when I got on camera, it wasn't nothing because we talked every night. Like I was just texting him last night or whatever about the stuff with Big Gipp was saying that he saw, Stunner saw him in Nashville with the platinum caps. And then Stunner was like, what that is? Because he had the golds in at this time. And he said, Baby wanted him to go and put the diamonds and the platinum in his mouth on a video #1 Stunner. But I was showing him that Gipp talked about him on Juvenile and Manny Fresh podcast, still 400. So yeah, so by me already having a relationship with him, it's not like I'm super fanned out. Everything I want to ask him and talk to him about, I did. And it's kind of like regular now because he like what I'm doing and all that. But no matter what, he's still a GOAT. And you know.
So let me ask, do you call yourself more like a vlog, or podcast interview? What you label yourself?
I like when I do my interviews. I feel like I do my due diligence like a real journalist. Like I'm gonna really do extensive research. I'm gonna listen to music. I'm gonna watch a lot of interviews. I'm gonna read articles. Anything I could do, I go hard. That's why every time I come with things on my page, I go hard like that. But a lot of times people always be combative and thinking I'm trying to make them feel like they don't know nothing. But I like to educate. That's why I do this shit. So if I was a lawyer, I'll come with my cases ready and all that so I can argue my cases and all that. So that's why I do so good at that. But I feel like my Instagram page is a blog. And when I'm doing interviews, I feel like I'm a journalist and all that. So, but overall, the main thing is I'm a music executive because that's the thing that got me so good at what I do is because I'm a person that comes from working with artists like Young and Superbad, S80, the youngest one, all that, to this or whatever.
Okay, so I see you, man.
And Sean Cott, shout out Sean Cott too, because he the main person from Say Cheese that started putting me on the platform first when I was putting on for New Orleans, defending New Orleans, and even taking fights for Shreveport with the ratchet stuff. When people was trying to run with their shit, and I got on about that. Thanks, Sean, for posting me. And even for Baton Rouge when Tech was going through the thing with Young Thug with the spider stuff. And I was stepping in with that. And people in New Orleans like, man, look, man, stay out of that. They ain't got nothing to do with you. That Baton Rouge business. Let them handle that. But I took on that fight, and that's why me and Tech wound up getting cool because he was like, bro, a lot of people thought I was tripping for going at Thug all the time, but like you jumped in that car with me. And I'm like, bro, you from Louisiana. Like, I'ma still roll with you. Same thing I did with Webby. Like, I didn't have to do that, but I was like, Webby was popping off with that Savage shit. Like, Be Legit is the original Savage from the Click. Like when Kevin Gates said, my Click house go stupid. My Click, and come from Be Legit in the Click with E40 and all that. But and I know that because I studied the game. So even with that, my Click house go stupid. A lot of people wouldn't know where that come from, unless you, because I caught it too, but a lot of people wouldn't know. So that's why I say you're a music historian, because I'm crazy like that with that music too. I hear something and know like, man, that's from back in the day. You know what I'm saying? So with us talking about the New Orleans and Baton Rouge and shit like that, I see like you work with a lot of feathers in my city, Baton Rouge, with a few people. They feel like you always saying, we jacking New Orleans style, or we want to be like, So me being from Baton Rouge, I'll say like, I'll say like Wayne. Say like Wayne got had. A lot of niggas grew dreads, a lot of niggas got tats and shit. So Wayne was an influence, and at the same time, Wayne was influenced by Philly niggas and Joel Santana and them, and he was influenced. Jay-Z, Tupac, the tattoo across the stomach.
Nigga might have been like, made an influence and impact on the music, but I feel like Baton Rouge, we don't jock nobody.
Well, this is what I would say to that, bro. See, I think a lot of times Baton Rouge people take it the wrong way. Like, everybody's influenced by something. And it's not saying that you fully take, like when you fully take a nigga whole thing, then that's like you completely copy. But everybody, like gumbo, we pull from the Italians, the Germans, the Africans, like everybody, the Indians, everybody put a little something in something to make gumbo or whatever. It was an inclusive dish. So a lot of times, just like we were saying with the Click stuff or whatever, with Baton Rouge, they like that. They drive the old school cars, the cutlasses and all that. They put the Daytons, they put the mayonnaise and mustard, the trues and voles and all that. That come from Cali. The guy, I forgot the guy's name. He made the car, he put the candy paint, the first color candy paint was red candy paint. That come from Oakland. They do candy paint, but everybody in the South do it, but the origin is there. And there's nothing wrong with people having candy paint in New Orleans, and in Texas, and Florida, and Baton Rouge. Nowhere. That don't mean you fully taking it, but a lot of times people will be like I talked to Mouse before, when I interviewed Mouse, I said, Mouse, when after Katrina, we had the DVD, Boosie Badass DVD, and we had Pimpulation. That was what I watched every day or whatever. And at this time, this around the time Wayne probably just was about to come out the Carter. And we was bumping a lot of Yo Gotti, we was bumping a lot of Savage Life or whatever. And I was telling my cousin, because I don't know how to really make beats, I was telling my cousin Nelly and Dro to make beats like Mouse and BJ or whatever. BJ, if I'm not mistaken, from Donaldsonville, where my grandfather from. They making beats like them. I'm telling Mouse this, whatever. But even though Mouse loved Manny Fresh a lot or whatever and all that. And he said when he was in the back of the church, he used to play all the old renditions of Cash Money. So everybody is influenced by things or whatever and stuff like that. But I'm not saying that Baton Rouge took our whole style. But not only was Baton Rouge influenced by us, I remember I talked to go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead. Because I might go rambling. Like what his name is Bundy from X Mob. Him and Vicious was in the group. At Pimp C worked with same thing. So you that's your boy, whatever. So he from Lake Charles. Lake Charles is right by Texas. But he said we more influenced by UNLV and we further from Baton Rouge than y'all, whatever. Like Eddie Bow. I know a lot of people in Baton Rouge always talking about that. Bow. But y'all and them and Yellow Boy do the Eddie Bow.
But I don't think.
But it's different.
Y'all don't think they had to do the Eddie Bow, but I still don't think that was pulled from that.
I mean, like I said,
it just happened to be the same word, ball. You know what I'm saying? Because in Baton Rouge, ball means some whole other shit. You know what I'm saying? Like my the way Young Reddy ran with it. Rest in peace to Young Reddy. Right. You know what I'm saying? I know for a fact, Reddy wasn't thinking Eddie Ball when he got the Highland Ball.
I mean, it probably wasn't, like I said.
So I think it's like it's the same word, but it's being used different. I don't feel like Baton Rouge bit off that. You know what I'm saying?
I know people always say that. That ain't even one I even really care about, but I didn't see people debate about that before and all that, which I don't really care about. Like I said, I know people love UNLV. People like Cash Money, not just in Baton Rouge, Florida. Cam Ryan was arguing over who there was the No Limit Soldiers in Harlem. Nipsey made a whole fucking logo with an money.
I feel like the world, every piece of the world influenced the rest of the world. So no matter what craft you in, if you're an artist or producer, you're gonna see something that motivates you, that make you create.
Right.
And you're gonna take a little piece.
And that's all I'm saying. I was like, all right, like this with me. That's why I said New Orleans, I don't have no complex. I can tell you we got stuff from. Like I said, we like to wear 10. We love the East Coast shit. Everybody know New Orleans love Philly music. Right. We had Clicks in the St. Bernard Project named after the Young Guns. You had the Bird Gang. They like to do some Dipset. You got the D Block or whatever because they like the Geedy Kiss and all them. We like I said, the Timbs, the Pradas. We wear Dickies, but we know that's popular in Cali. But we like Dickies and Pradas and Cohines. The dude just went viral. Triller, Too Legit or whatever, was talking about how New Orleans people came to Houston and dudes went to Wayne Dre's, Cohines. Right. You know, they got block parties, they got more seafood restaurants everywhere. But Lil Flippin' and been talking about Papa Do's and motherfucking they was talking about Papa Do's, and the other one they was always talking about a lot of Copeland's and Papa Do's. So these are Louisiana, New Orleans type restaurants and all that. But like I said, I just feel like our influence been everywhere, but I feel like that don't take away from Baton Rouge. Like Young Boy doing a phenomenal job, and I'm glad that an artist from Baton Rouge can do that, because I remember when Boosie was out, you know, back in the day, like almost 20 years ago, he had a hard time getting played like that. But now, Young Boy at the Smoothie King Center 2 nights in a row, people jumping over barricades, they running up the street to give him a hug or just take a picture with him.
But see, I feel like with YB, I seen you say he who you say you looked up to?
I said YB looked up to, first of all, he looked up to Lil Fat for sure. Yeah, but over the years, he's getting older and all that stuff. Like, he's gonna constantly be influenced by things. You're not gonna, people like Lil Wayne. Of course, when Lil Wayne first was rapping, he probably liked the Pimp Daddy and he liked the Lil Slim from out the 17 and all that. But as he got older, he heard about Jay-Z, he heard about Tupac and all that stuff like that, Biggie. He's pulling from everywhere. He learning more other rappers, Nas. So he's learning things in different flows and being exposed. Yeah. So Baton Rouge people be acting like, no, we don't. Of course, y'all might listen to all Baton Rouge music in the club. Just like a lot of dudes in Detroit. They listen to a lot of Detroit music, but that don't mean that Dope Boys Cash Out wasn't listening to damn Cash Money. And Blade Icewood and them have a bunch of No Limit or Cash Money, definitely Cash Money artists all on Blade Icewood and albums and stuff.
I see what you're saying, but say like a YB.
Right.
Man.
Oh, I'm gonna still tell you, go ahead, because I'm gonna still tell you. So it was Fat that I feel like influenced him. I feel like Fee, which is like a cousin of me or whatever and stuff like that. He said he listens to a lot of young Soulja Slim all day right now. He listens to a lot of what his name is. We know that dude on he like Glizzy. What his name is? Sly Glizzy. Because Sly Glizzy, other partner named 3. That's where 3 get his name from. From Glizzy.
Know this for a fact that 3 had his name.
I know he listened to. If you ever interview 3, I guarantee you, because I'm a student of the game and I know how much Young Boy loves Sly Glizzy and love Chief Keef, that 3 get his name from Glizzy.
I gotta check up on that. I gotta do my
homework. That's something I'm telling y'all that I already feel like he influenced that because I know Young Boy loved Sly Glizzy. He loved Chief Keef. And not just Young Boy loved Chief Keef. A lot of rappers was influenced by Chief Keef.
But I still say the shit that YB doing, like, you went to the concert, right?
Yeah. No, I ain't get to go to the concert now.
See, you missed out on some greatness. If you'd have caught the concert, you would have known that's all. What we witnessed up there was some Baton Rouge shit.
No, I seen it. I seen it all day. I mean, you could see it, stream it and all that. The beats that Young Boy rap on, all Baton Rouge type style beats.
So that's
the way
why
he dancing is Baton Rouge.
I feel like he's so successful in the game.
Right.
Because he never deviated from that.
Right. I feel like I love what he did because I feel like when Gates got a lot bigger, Gates kind of, I ain't gonna say abandoned the sound all the way, but he kind of went for a bigger sound. Young Boy was a straight rebel, and he was like, I'm gonna rap off these Baton Rouge type beats. Yeah. I've been saying that, but people only hear what they want to hear though. But that don't take away from along the way you got influenced by things. I'm not saying he rapping off a New Orleans beat. Right. I'm not saying he put a cross in the middle of his forehead like Soulja Slim did or whatever. Like Gates did at one time or whatever. Like Young Boy still got a lot of love from New Orleans, bro. Like he rocked with Stunner, he rocked with Fee, he rocked with Petey, Kevin Gates. When he came, blew up in New Orleans, Baton Rouge, he came, got with Booby Black, he fucked with him, he fucked with Stone. So everybody in New Orleans and Baton Rouge always kind of connect, and that don't take away from...
People say, I got a couple inboxes too.
Right.
They say you always putting Baton Rouge and New Orleans against each other. So I got one of my closest friends from the 6th Ward.
Okay.
That's my best friend.
Okay.
So even he called home from jail. Right. He like, man, tell G to calm down.
Right.
He was like, man, he said, man, the city do his shit, but that rack a different life. And I got another partner, he into what we doing now.
Right.
Flock. Okay. He from New Orleans. He was born and raised there, but he been in Baton Rouge for a minute.
Right.
He say to tell you, like, man, that rack is just different. It ain't no biting. We just got our own. Like, I feel you say, y'all might influence shit, but man, I think you need to come down there for like a couple of weeks and just see what we doing.
Listen, bro, I've been loving Baton Rouge, bro. Like when people wasn't like, just like BTY Youngin told me before, I was listening, and my partner Rennie could tell you this, and my cousin, when I used to go to clubs years ago, the youngest one, when they was trying to play songs to come out on the stage, they playing Meek Mill's I'm a Boss. I told them play Boost and set it off. I'll be dancing to music from Baton Rouge in the club in Napoleonville and damn Marksville and damn Hammond. My cousins would be looking at me like I'm crazy, man. Why you dancing at Baton Rouge? You got us looking corny and country. Okay. I fuck with the music. So I don't have a problem with Baton Rouge, and I like Baton Rouge beats. I know y'all have your own sound, but when you make a documentary like Diamonds in the Dirt, and they showing the dude say, when I made Thuggin' in Public, I saw dudes in New Orleans exposed talking about their city, so I want to make something like that. Yeah. So that was an influence. They still did it their own way, but it's a lot of, but that's what I'm saying, is like, Baton Rouge just feel like I talked to that dude that was on my page when he said, man, I'm from Baton Rouge, and I said, bro, I don't even want to post you on my page. I don't want them to get mad at you. Feel like you go. He said, but his partner was like, bro, people from New Orleans that killed our partners don't never agree with Geedy, whatever, and all that shit. Fuck what he talking about. Even if he right. He was like, he said, I seen how Baton Rouge people started dancing different with the jig. He said they used to do the moving or like that or whatever. He said, now they doing all this, whatever. And I seen like, when Dan Rue came down there from Alexandria to Baton Rouge, he big, he on Wild 'N Out, he all around the world, he going viral on TikTok. His dancing style, he said, we didn't like that. When y'all first came down to our city, all in block parties every fucking day, he said that shit was like way different to us culturally. So if you bring a bunch of Mexicans, you bring a bunch of Jamaicans to Miami, you bring a bunch of Colombians, wherever they from, you bring 100,000 people to Baton Rouge right now, their culture is going to bleed in. Just like Italians or people that came to Lafayette, Louisiana from Nova Scotia when they got exiled because they didn't want to bow down to the British crown. That's why the people in Lafayette exodus that way. So for people to act like New Orleans and influence, even if it was a little, because we was influenced by things. But
so I think your delivery be off. So
but no, people, they be so quick to respond, to listen and understand. So they all were to be defensive because New Orleans and Baton Rouge was getting into that Southern. They was getting into it in the prisons. So they always felt like when they go out of town, when Bruce and them, you say, where you from? Y'all, no, man, we from Baton Rouge. We fuck with New Orleans, though. Like he said, I ain't from New Orleans, but I know some real niggas that's from New Orleans.
Right.
I love that song. Nothing like Baton Rouge, bro. I heard Bruce say, I represent for all the Katrina victims, man. I'm in the 7th Wahal at the Maryland Tory. My album play forever like 400 by La Juve. I cut your throat, take your heart. I can go on and on with this man lyrics. I really fuck with Baton. But people think I don't like Baton Rouge, bro. But I wouldn't, if I didn't know it. Listen, I want to say this one thing too, just last little thing. He said heroin hit the city, now these niggas going crazy. At one time, that wasn't down there. That was a drug that New Orleans people bought down there.
Right.
And it got wild. That influenced how the city, the young boy was on rap radio with B-Dot and Elliot Wilson. He said the city was getting bloody before us. They was really doing it. This ain't nothing I said. That's what he said. But if I say that, bro, then it's going to be like, you hating. But if young boy said, then it's like. I
just think they feel like it's an issue when it's coming from you.
That's why I was like.
So I'm going to ask you this.
Okay.
Because they think like you trying to put us against each other. So I'm going to ask you, I did an interview with an artist out of Baton Rouge.
Okay.
And I see you must have watched the interview.
Okay.
You took it and clipped it.
Oh, you talking about Dog Snub?
Yeah, I ain't want to name drop.
Yeah.
But yeah, so by the time when I watched your clip from my interview, it was like you had put him and the other guy against each other, you know what I'm saying? And just clipped that like
no, but they were just talking about I had a couple of slides in there with him. It wasn't just that part. He talked about what he did.
End up exchanging words.
But people took that. But I had a slideshow. I could go back and get that or whatever. But that particular part, because he did say Rob's name.
He did drop his name.
But that wasn't my fault or whatever and all that. I guess he wanted to be known that he really did that and he had been doing it. That wasn't, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, one thing about media, bro, and everybody that got a publicist know is your words. If I get on Twitter and say, fuck San Diego or whatever, I tweeted that. Right. I said that out of my mouth or whatever. I got to take whatever come behind that or whatever.
Right,
so when you put something out, you got to know what you're saying or whatever and what's going to come by.
So I'm going to ask you, you're right about that. He did say that on his own.
And to me, he wasn't
I feel like he wasn't
being disrespectful. Yeah. And I don't be disrespectful to Baton Rouge. I never say people dirty, cheesy, and dumb. I don't never say that. Right. People just get like that, like I'm being Charleston White. But I guess because I'm from New Orleans, they're like, these niggas from New Orleans always just got something to say.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you, we're going to take it back with your blog shit.
Right.
So, say Cheese popped you off and got you jumping by the shout out?
Yeah, Sean Cotton helped me out a lot, bro. He like I said, he liked what I was doing in New Orleans and just like what I was doing. Just go and get things like receipts from things and just bringing it out. And a lot of people didn't like me when I was saying stuff like, oh, you think everything come from New Orleans? You think everything come from Louisiana and all that? So I always just was fighting for where I was from, bro. And like I said before, like my grandma on my mama's side is from Birchville, Napoleonville. I know some people might say Donaldsonville, the original capital. Before y'all, it was Donaldsonville. My grandfather from there. My dad is from Knoxville, Tennessee. So I don't have, but my dad mom is from Ronicalio. But I don't have a problem with Baton Rouge. The boot on my arm, I love Pimp C. He from Crowder, Louisiana. Right. Anybody know Pimp C? No, he loved the South. And Pimp had an influence on Master P and Cash Money and Bun B. Same way he helped Trill Entertainment out with Turkey Mail. I looked up to Turkey Mail because I admired what they was doing from Baton Rouge. I was glad to look at a CD and be like, damn, when I did BTY Youngin CD when he was in prison, the Rider Music, the back of that cover, I got Free Youngin on it. I got that idea from Ghetto Stories. On the back of Ghetto Stories is a Free Pimp C thing. But people wouldn't know that because they think I don't like Baton Rouge. But they don't understand, but I appreciate you even taking your time to even try to hear a little bit. And some people might not even watch this interview. Some people might do. People already be having their mind made up, bro. Right. So, but I really didn't even really want to talk about it because it was you. And I was like, I'll do it. But other people,
because I've been here. From jump, I told us, man, I think, they taking it wrong. You know what I'm saying? Or you might be delivering it wrong. But I got what you were saying, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
and my partner from Glen Oaks. Yeah. All right, so you got folks in that area. My partner, Dave from Check 'Em Out TV, when people in New Orleans, they want to interview me, I had to go to Baton Rouge.
Okay.
And this man said, bro, just get down here, I'll interview you. You don't even got to give me no money. Just get down here, get you a room, and I'm going to interview you. And then me and that dude became good friends. This dude that slept at my house. We went out on the road. I helped him he interviewed Sean Cotton when he asked him about the stuff with G-Money and all that, about the interview. We went to Sean Cotton's house. Right. He interviewed Charleston White. We always went on the road together from Houston to Austin. This is a Baton Rouge friend of mine. Right. So he know I don't have a problem with Baton Rouge. We always stop and get boudin from Billy's. Like, this facts, bro.
So Sean Cotton gave you a shout out.
Yeah.
He damn near said the voice of New Orleans.
Yeah.
Did you get some bad backlash?
Oh yeah,
for that?
when that first happened, people didn't want to hear that. They're like, man, who is him? Because they didn't know me because I was behind the scenes, like was super bad, youngin, and the youngest one. So I wasn't out there. Now my face is out there because I'm in the blog and stuff. But at the time, no, they was like, man, who this dude is? But Sean liked it my knowledge. I mean, he seemed like he pretty good at picking talent and having a good eye for it. So he said, bro, I see something in you. And now, I don't get posted on them, which I don't need to. Cause like he said, when somebody said, man, you can help Geedy P, I did what I did and Geedy good now, whatever, which I never forget what he did in Texas. A lot of people in Texas from Dallas, from Boss Talk, rest in peace, Big D, Big Ann out of Houston, those dudes. And, Texas, real life street stars, they show me a lot of love. And Baton Rouge too, bro.
Yeah, so you got your boost from Sean Cotton. Do you play the public? And when you play the public, you get a lot of notoriety?
Oh, yeah. Okay. When I go out, when I'm at Mardi Gras, I get a lot of daps and hugs.
Okay.
When we was out there with the street sound, me and David, everybody came out. We had guys do paintings. We had media come out there to cover that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd be all at the Capitol. I'm be at the Capitol in Baton Rouge when we got to go up to the Capitol to fight for the 10-2 stuff. The same law that got C murdered, incarcerated, my brother, and almost 1,000 people still incarcerated due to a racist law that was created in 1898. We still fight for that. So I be in the Capitol and everything. So I'm not just going back and forth Baton Rouge or Atlanta or Detroit or whatever about the Cardies. I'm not just picking on Baton Rouge, bro. Baton Rouge is very, very popular. So a lot of people are going to talk about Baton Rouge. They're going to have different opinions, and y'all ain't going to always agree with them. But like I say, it's never intentionally to put them down. Baton Rouge, I used to tell people, I told Sean Cotton this, and I say this on Say Cheese a lot, and I said it in numerous interviews, people can pull it up. I said the same way Atlanta got treated by New York, that's how at one time New Orleans did treat Baton Rouge because they didn't want to like Boosie. They said his voice was annoying, it was high pitched. But I was like, y'all like Easy-E voice, it's high pitched, but it's Compton. Y'all like the Pimp C voice, it's high pitched. We still bump UGK, but why y'all giving Boosie all the time? And Boosie was rapping real shit. So I liked it, even when I used to go to Hattiesburg, Mississippi with my cousin. I'd be listening to Boosie, and I was loving that they was out there. They love Boosie in Hattiesburg. The whole Mississippi loved Boosie like he was born there.
So I feel like Sean passed you the torch.
Right.
So did you do that? Like, did you extend your arm too? Like somebody up and coming? Like how you help him? How you give him back?
Like I said, like my other good friend is G from Natchitoches, Louisiana.
That's
and all that stuff.
Change the Plans?
Change the Plans.
Shout out.
This dude from a little bitty town, rural town. He always called me and him. He said, "You the city mouse, I'm the country mouse," like the old book.
Yeah.
So, and we great friends and stuff like that. He come do stuff with me. We talk all the time when he went to Harlem or whatever with his girl. I told him where to go eat at when me and my partner David and Moby went. So that's what I'm saying, bro. Like for people to try to paint it, like I'm not one of the people that don't like. I post orders from everywhere in Louisiana, or whatever. If it's hot or whatever, if people like it, I'm not a blogger that's like don't care about the other parts of Louisiana. I give dudes voices all the time. A lot of dudes on my page don't even be famous. They got an opinion. I post it, but a lot of people, like one dude said, "Well, he must have got beat up by somebody from Baton Rouge or a dude from Baton Rouge." No, I never got to a girl from Baton Rouge. Dude, no nigga ain't never took no girl I ever had. Facts. But on top of that, I never had a problem with nobody from Baton Rouge, bro.
Right.
I fuck with Baton Rouge, bro. Like I said, I got love for Baton Rouge. And I think it hurt me a lot more than any other place because I think I care so much, but I feel bad that they might feel like I'm doing it. I don't want them to feel like...
get you in your feelings.
Oh, yeah. Baton Rouge, the only city, that's the only city that give me... Because I care, like any other city, I don't really be caring if they say some shit, but I fuck with them so much because I always wanted to see Baton Rouge rise. When I first heard, like, Boosie from For My Thugs, whatever. Even when I heard how great gangster music was, like hustling, hold up, my time could be next. I hope I make it. You know, I've been going through some things like.
So were you on Boosie? Were you on Boosie with the mixtape he done with Paper Route, A1 and Sicker?
See, you talking about like some new stuff recently?
No, I'm talking about before that, before My Thugs.
No, see, no. Like I said, that's around the time I got. Cause like I said, at the time in New Orleans, we still got all our stuff. So when I did start getting a whiff of it, and I got on it really hard too, cause my cousin from Napoleonville, they was going to the Franklinton Fest, and they put a nigga on it or whatever. So they kind of really opened me up to it. Plus my partners that moved to Mississippi, they was on them hard and shit too, or whatever. So
cause I did ask you too, probably about 3 weeks ago. I asked you about like Calico the Champ that was from here.
Yeah, Calico.
You did your research on?
Yeah, Calico. I talked to Calico. Calico got balls and all that stuff like that.
Yeah, but Calico nice.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I know he ended up working with like KL and Jizzle.
Yeah.
But I was on them boys like pre-Katrina.
Right.
Because I got partners down here. They from the East.
Right, okay.
You know what I'm saying? So we used to come out here before Katrina to the East.
But that's what I'm saying. Baton Rouge always love to sit there like Young Boy Mama. Young Boy Mama, Miss Sharonda did an interview with Manifest and Juvie, and she said, I wasn't even in love. My husband didn't even break my heart that I was married to. She said, a dude from New Orleans broke my heart that was from Algiers. She said, I think he was going to LSU, and me and the girl was getting into it over him. She said, he was putting me on all the Partners in Crime, all the UNLV stuff. Young Boy Mama, so I know if Young Boy Mama, which is a hip-hop fan and she rap, he was listening to shit she was listening to. But like I said, Fat is Young Boy biggest main influence, especially coming up in Baton Rouge, but along the way. Just like, I know Gates like certain people, but he like Biggie, he like Pac, he like other things that influenced him, but he loved Baton Rouge. And y'all beats with the Jig, with Ashanti did, with Mouse did, with B-Red, Savage, all them dudes, Gus, it's a lot of them, I might be missing people, but all those dudes made a contribution to y'all sound, Happy Perez, Low, all those dudes and all that. Rest in peace, Young Bleed. I did one of the last interviews with him on Boss Talk 101. And his stepdad is from the Ninth Ward.
Okay.
And Max Minnelli is originally from New Orleans, and he used to live in the 7th Ward and East. But he give all his love and credit and all the game he got Baton Rouge.
So who you think got the better food?
Who got the better food?
Yeah.
I know it ain't gonna be y'all. Only people that always be in this conversation with the food is New Orleans and Baton Rouge. See, y'all do my partner Dave fucked me up because he told me y'all do y'all hot sausage sandwiches with the links. Yeah, we do the patties. I'm like, y'all do the links? No, like, no, man, we do. I'm like, bro, y'all don't get the links. We get the links.
So what's our best dish?
What's our best dish? Everything. We got gumbo. We got jambalaya.
I don't think y'all fucking with us on the gumbo no more.
On the gumbo? Man, well, like I said, we'll let the food editors from around the world and the restaurant foodies that come in. Now, Baton Rouge, y'all got everybody dancing. So y'all got everybody moving. But the food, bro, no.
This is what we can do.
What's up?
We can get the cameras rolling one weekend, and we're gonna do a New Orleans. We're gonna come here.
Okay.
Food tasting, checking out the music and the culture. Then we're gonna take it to BR. We're gonna put it together and let the viewers judge.
Baton Rouge clubs be turned up, y'all.
We club different.
Now y'all club. Listen, I done been in y'all clubs, y'all. I remember I was in a club. I think that was my cousin. Was cool. He was cool with the guy Travis from Dead Game. They bought us in this club. I don't know where it was at, but it felt like we went in the back of a store, like a store with like girls lingerie, like strippers and stuff. But you go through the store and then you're in a similar little club. I was like, what the hell is this? Like we had to go through a little spot.
Say that again.
It felt like we went through this other little entrance to come through like a store, like it was like girls clothes, like stripper clothes, I guess. And then it was like a club where they had.
That's where the strippers were.
Yeah, and then we went in, I don't know if it was a strip club. It felt like it was a regular club, but we went through some shit that, man, I don't know, that shit was crazy. And it was fun.
If you walked through the store, it had girls' clothing.
Yeah. And then it was like a club or whatever that we went into, but it was turned. It was like on this main street.
Florida Street.
I think it was on Florida Street.
That's PPG. They gotta be PPG.
Yeah, and it was lit. And when Travis and it was out there, they was riding in the Corvettes, niggas was in the drop top, so they was flying Baton Rouge. I'm like, okay, they shine.
If Travis was out there and PPG went over,
see,
I don't think.
I don't know. I thought he was there. This was damn, man, when this was? Man, this was some years ago. This had to be like around 14 or something like that.
Oh, yeah, it wasn't PPG.
Yeah.
So let me ask you,
But we had fun, though. We had fun out there in BR tonight.
Being from the city, what, like, growing up, what has being from New Orleans taught you, you know what I'm saying, that no matter where you go, it stick with you? Like,
it taught me how to be alert. Like, you know, you be very attentive.
Okay.
You got to read people. You know how, like, you might, if you're in a certain area, you like, okay, we ain't going to this store. We ain't going to this area, whatever. You got to know, like, certain shit. I just feel like it just game you up and all that stuff like that. And I feel like the same thing, like, with y'all city, bro. Like I said, bro, like, Baton Rouge is a great place. And what another thing is, what was always funny to me that I told my partner Dave, that Baton Rouge would take something bad and make it good. Like, y'all say retarded. That's y'all shit. The dumb way. Yeah. The sickest. Now, I remember, like, I don't know if they had anything to do with y'all loving E40, with, he had the Sick With It records and all that.
Yeah.
But I just know y'all like sick is retarded, dumb, raw you out and all that. It's just like y'all to take stuff like that and make it y'all own. But I think that's what make y'all so unique too, because that's like y'all lingo, nigga know pressure. Right. Like I feel like y'all really was saying that. Like, it's a lot of things y'all engage the game, but that's what I'm saying. I don't want people to take it like, I don't know, y'all made a hell of a contribution to the game and all that. But there's nothing wrong with having little influence here and there, but along the way, y'all made your own thing. Because hip-hop come from disco records and James Brown stuff, and those dudes in New York took it and made something that we all made our cities popular in hip-hop. Right. The same thing with Ice-T. Ice-T took something from Schoolie G and made his gangster record song and made gangster rap music or whatever, Ice-T, and that helped Cali. And then they took something from P-Funk with Parliament and George Clinton, and then you get G-Funk with Dr. Dre and the Chronic. So, and nothing wrong with that or whatever and all that,
So, I'm going to ask you, what's a plus and a negative you done experienced by having your platform?
Plus and negative is that sometimes people don't really understand your mission and how you taking, like Dolph said before, you can take a cell phone and make yourself a millionaire. Right. You could take lemons and make lemonade. So it just was me taking what I had and being resourceful and just trying to create a bridge. Like everybody was going to say cheese when Sean Cotton came to the pop-up shop and everybody was in there and they was just trying like, damn, like if I could build something like this here, then we could build our own bridges and all that. And that's why I like what Dave was doing in Baton Rouge. But I used to get mad when I'm like, bro, why all these dudes that go to like Shreveport or go to Texas and do interviews with people and y'all right there? Like everybody let y'all stuff. Landor interview everybody in Detroit. They'll come make sure they stop by him. All the big artists in Detroit. Right. They was keeping it in Detroit. And I felt like, just like with you, if all the big artists like Gates, Young Boy, anybody, whoever, if they big enough to come on those platforms and come on y'all, it'll help turn y'all channels up because y'all got the light on y'all and it'll kind of make y'all have your own thing. So that's what I was trying to do when I was doing. That's
kind of my goal, give Baton Rouge a voice. I mean, because I'm a big fan of like platforms like Big Facts, Vlad, Shannon Sharp, just everybody that's in the game doing it. Right. And we ain't had that here. Right. We ain't had that in Baton Rouge. Right. So that's what I'm trying to create, like a voice and a platform for our city. Because we got a lot of talent, you know what I'm saying? Especially with YB being the biggest in the game. Yeah, that's a fact. You know what I'm saying? They got eyes on the city now. And
that's what I love about him too, bro. Like, the dude's so open. He's so transparent. Like, his good and his bad, he let everything play out. His mama famous, his friends famous, his baby mama's famous, his kids famous. Everybody around him, he get famous because he's an open book. And I think him being so transparent and open make people feel like they know him. They see him, Kentrell. So I just think that's really dope and all. But I feel like artists like you said, Young Bleed and Max Minnelli and all them and Logan, they were all them whatever and all that. They made it possible for a young boy to be able to run. Okay. For artists, like headbanging all them to do what they're doing and all that stuff like that. Like, to be able to do what they're doing, I just feel like those people did all the heavy lifting, just like what Pimp C and them did. Yeah. Now you got the money bags and, the Sauce Walkers and all that, but those dudes had to get a little bit of money and go through that. But now, even us, like, we didn't have platforms to talk about the South shit. We had to go to XXL and the Source and let them review our albums and talk about our stuff. Now we can do it and all that. So I just think that when people talk about music or we just critique stuff like barbershop talk, people shouldn't be so defensive. Now, if you say it in a disrespectful way, I just feel like it's going rough and feather, but I just feel like don't take it like if you got a better argument than me or somebody could tell me something that could educate me, I'm all for it. Or whatever. Right. I'm not going to look at it like, man, because like I said, the last thing I want people to think is that I don't like Baton Rouge, and that's so far from the truth. Like I said, you saw the tattoo on my arm, the boot. How many people you want to know say they represent? Most people, I'm from New Orleans, not on Louisiana. I represent New Orleans, Louisiana.
New Orleans people like to say, they ain't from Louisiana, they from New Orleans.
Well, like I said, when King Louis first, before it was Orleans, after his son or his cousin-in-law, whatever, Duke of Orleans, whatever, that come from Orleans, France, or whatever. Right. It was the Louisiana territory before it was anything. Before it was statehood through America and all that, it was Louisiana territory because it come from his mama Anna from Spain and his name. And that's Louisiana. So before it was New Orleans or Baton Rouge or Shreveport or whatever, it was Louisiana. Right. So I'm not about to disrespect that. Now, yes, King Louis did love New Orleans. And that's why when, Napoleon wound up getting it and he wound up needing the money for war, he sold Haiti. And when he lost Haiti, he said, take New Orleans, Thomas Jefferson and get all the 15 states with it. that was an important place.
Go over the head with that. Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Yeah. So I know why people feel like New Orleans is important, because historically throughout culture over years and years, it always has been important in American history. But that don't still take away from all the other places in Louisiana. Because I don't like when people try to make the other different. Yeah, I don't like when they try to pin one city down to be like, of course, every big city do this in America, but I don't like to just feel like I gotta tear this city down and big my city up. My city gonna shine, your city gonna shine for whatever reason, but I don't gotta feel like I gotta shit on Baton Rouge or Shreveport, Lafayette or whatever. We got different things that make us unique, and that's what I like.
But still, I think this interview might break it down from being, I see how you lit, so that's like being into cameras. Mm-hmm. If we go watch a movie,
right,
they might just be screaming, say we watch a Scream or something, they gonna scream at the night, but we probably looking at it from a production standpoint.
Right.
So saying like you view New Orleans from, how I can put this, like Canal Street.
Right.
That's middle ground.
Right. The neutral ground.
Neutral ground. Right. Because they went to war.
On Canal Street, right. Uptown, downtown, South Streets. And uptown, downtown, North Streets,
yeah. So you view it from a different perspective.
Right.
But a lot of people don't know that. They just think Canal Street and Bourbon Street just straight party hand grenades.
Right.
But by you knowing that knowledge, you're gonna view it, so you might have to dumb it down a little bit.
That's like some people don't know Treme is one of the oldest black neighborhoods in America. Just like Orange Mound is in Memphis, where they bought MJG from. There's facts. So it's just a lot of history that comes from the place. On Sundays, a lot of slaves were able to give away gifts. They was able to find relatives that they were looking for. They was able to do a lot of stuff. That's what I'm saying. So all I'm trying to do is teach them, but everybody always feel like I'm trying to make them look dumb or trying to shit on them or trying to take their shine. Bro, no, I'm not trying to live boy no boy. I'm not trying to act like Baton Rouge our sons. I never said that or whatever and all that. I just know that we had a little, that's why Master Peace, I said, P, on my interview. I didn't have to ask P this question. I said, why was it important for you to say on Baton Rouge, Bowdy, Shreveport? Because he said it wasn't just about New Orleans. I'm Louisiana animals. When I asked Baby, I said, Baby, would you consider yourself country? He said, yeah, I'm a country motherfucker, but I'm a country hustler and I get money. I said that because I wanted people from the South to be proud like Pimp C. Most people from the water probably got pissed off when Baby said that. But I knew why I was asking him that, because I wanted people to know that it's about the South. And ain't nothing wrong with being country cool. That's country shit Willie D. Alden was.
So with your platform, what's your end goal?
My end goal, bro, is to try to do as much as I could do to educate people, shed light if I could, and just be a bridge, another place that they might be able to say, you know, he understand me. He understands us because he get it. And a lot of times people don't get it. So I feel like if I could do that, then that'd be good.
So how often are you putting in the work with your platform? Because I know you work too.
Yeah.
And you got other stuff going on. So how often, like per day or per week?
I do it every day. When I'm at work, I can't do it, but I do it every day. I do something every day. When I get off work at night, I watch interviews, I cut it up and all that stuff like that. Every day, I ain't never stop. It's consistency. You just got to put your 10,000 hours in it. Yeah. I didn't get here because it was easy. I didn't get credible for all these almost 88,000 people following me. It's my full page. I probably been at 300,000 or more than that right now.
Pages.
So yeah, I got a lot of pages deleted. Me and Boosie was going through the same shit. Like how Boosie said, man, they keep deleting my page. I was going through the same thing, but I kept
getting up. Took it?
I mean, people probably was flagging and striking or whatever. I don't know, but shout out to my boy Jarson, because he kept telling me, come back.
Are you monetizing from this page?
On Instagram, I don't think my shit monetized, but I still make money because people pay me for promo. My YouTube channel monetized them.
So you are monetizing from YouTube?
On YouTube, yeah. Okay. I make money.
So is it, how I can ask you that? I ain't gonna say is it worth it, but are you seeing like
hell yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, blogging, for anybody that get into blogging, is worth it. You gonna make money. If you could build credibility. I'm not talking about the people that be getting the fake ass followers, because I don't do the fake followers. I don't want no fake bots. I want real people. You can see the people in my comments. Look at Baton Rouge, they be on my ass. Okay. That's just anywhere else, Detroit or whoever. Whatever, if it's about anything, you gonna see real people commenting. You gonna know they from those cities. So I don't have no robots. So yeah, I like real followers. I like things really organic, and but people like to pay for promo and all that. So yeah, it's working. Okay.
So you see on like a weekly or monthly basis, you feel like your platform steady growing, getting back bigger and bigger?
It's getting bigger. Its posts is still doing like the last one on my page that's doing real good. The one with the dude talking about Texas came and influenced New Orleans and all that. They got like 8,000 shares and all that. So it just keep growing, you know?
So I'm gonna just say it had something to do with Baby and Slim.
Yeah, me and David did that.
What part y'all played?
So what I did was I was seeing like in XXL, it was showing all the rappers, like in New York, you can't get in the street unless you're dead. But out like Too Short, Tupac, E40, Allen Iverson, Big L, Big Pun, like all these people, Dolph. I was seeing them get street names after them and stuff like that. I'm like, well, damn, Baby, them should better get this too, whatever, and all that stuff. So I told David, he looked it up, seen how it go, whatever, and I kept standing on David, and we got Baby and Slim the street, the key first, key to the city, because they never got that. Right. So we got that, then after that, we got him the street name, and we got it on Saratoga and Rattle. So if you ever buy Miss Gladys Ball, you're going to see the orange sign on Saratoga and Rattle. Now, they did grow up too on Vallis and Magnolia later, but their dad, Ball, Miss Gladys Ball, is on Saratoga and Rattle. So that's what the stuff at is called the Williams Brothers Way. And man, David was able to get that done through the council lady, Leslie Harris. It was in her district. We're trying to get Master P stuff, but that's been, we were trying to do that since 2014, 24, huh?
Walker Star, the fame, the Star.
Well, Master P got that down there. Okay. And he put, people like Al Copeland, Ty Graves from Baton Rouge, Louis Armstrong, Lil Wayne, Baby and Slim, a slew of other people and all that, but he did the Walk of Fame for them. But we need to do something for P, because he need a street. Him and Tyler Perry need one on 6 of Marone or something. I mean, we need those people, with streets and stuff too, or whatever.
So let me ask you, what the squad mean to you? Because I see you stay with Super Blanca, right?
Yeah, the squad mean a lot to us because they from out the East and all that. They was putting the mixtapes out. When nobody really wasn't doing mixtapes, you ain't gonna hear Soulja Slim rapping off a mixtape beat. Right. That wasn't something that people was doing, but then you heard BG and you heard people like Lil Derek. That was A.K.A. Bullet, Baby and them, nephew. They was like rapping out other beats, but the squad was the first ones I seen doing it. Like Kid, Gutter, Streets, Dizzy and all that.
You feel like, because I feel like them boys should have had like some more backing behind them. Because I feel like if the squad would have took off, man, they probably still be like what the Locks is.
Man, the squad was like, the squad was what Dipset was. The way that squad came about is that Lil Wayne was on tour with Nelly and them. And he saw what Nelly was doing with the St. Lunatics. So he was like, I want to take and make my crew like this. So then he put the squad together and, Fee and him and all around Goretti in the East. And, Wayne went to Abeson too. Wayne went to McMahon. He loved McMahon the most. But he went to Abe too. And BG went to Abe. That's a high school I went to. So, they was in the East.
Right.
Fee Banks that managed Gates and Young Boy, which Young Boy Mama love a lot. They all put that together. So you're right. But I felt like I wish Baby would have got behind him more. I don't know if it was kind of like some shit because they was from out the East. Niggas ain't want really, because the East got the sauce, like Currency from the East. A lot of the fly niggas come from the East side of it and all that. So that's one thing about the East. It always been a fly part of New Orleans. Like, to me, it's like the Harlem of New Orleans. I say the East, this might be controversial. The East would be like Harlem.
Right.
Or whatever, because a lot of black people had money in Harlem. There was Upland Mobile, Dressing, Prestigious, Duke Ellington, Count Betsy, all them, WB Du Bois, he slept in a suit. So the East would be like, be like Harlem. Uptown to me would be like Brooklyn, because they get fly. You got Fab Jigger, and like Tupac said, it's Brooklyn in the house on Old School song when he said it on Me Against the World album. So Uptown would be more like Brooklyn to me. And Brooklyn is like the biggest known borough. Then I feel like Queens, because you got Nas, you got 50, you got people like Fat Cat, they'll be like downtown. Right. And then the West Bank would have kind of been more like Wu-Tang Clan, Staten Island, because it was the Jefferson Parish part of it. It was like more racist and conservative, because they got like 53% of I think it's like 53% and like 60-some% white people live in Jefferson Parish, especially on the West Bank side. And it's real racist. You could get locked up and gritting a lot. So it's just a little more conservative, just like how Wu-Tang got, like, I think that was on Eric Gardner when he got choked out with the cigarettes or whatever and got killed. That was in Staten Island. So I just feel like Wu-Tang always had to fight harder for it, just like how dudes in the West Bank, it always just be a little harder because they from the river. But those guys put on first with the rap game, with Bust Down, with Tim Smooth, with G Slim, and a lot of people. MC Thick, a lot of them. So shout out to the West Bank too, but that's how I kind of break it down. If I did the boroughs, the Bronx, I wouldn't be able to put the Bronx in them, but shout out to the Bronx though.
All right, for sure. So, man, like I say, man, I appreciate you coming on.
I appreciate you too, bro.
Man, I appreciate the knowledge. I'm going to stay in touch with you because I'm always seeing some shit that I'll shoot you a text or a call, you know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it, man.
Any way that tapped in can tap in and help you, man. Let us know, you know what I'm saying? Try to work together, do some shit, you know what I'm saying? Because like you say, it ain't Baton Rouge versus
Right.
New Orleans.
Pimp C wouldn't want that. And like I said, my dog, before I get off here, Mob God love Pimp C a lot. Me and him talked about Pimp a lot. He loved Pimp to death. And and Q Red the same way. Q Red said he cried when Pimp C died. I did too. Just like Fee said when Tupac died, he cried. So when Pimp C died, I cried. My dad's crying because Pimp C. So Pimp really wouldn't want no division in the South. We might say a little shit, you know, fun in a fun way, but it's never like to like take away from y'all contribution and everything y'all doing. Y'all doing some great shit. And y'all gonna continue to do great shit and influence a lot of people because our state is super influential. So shout out to Baton Rouge, Jigger City, Big Raggedy. That really get all the way retarded, that rack.
So salute, man. Salute to that city, New Orleans, man. So, man, appreciate you for coming on, Geedy, man. I ain't lying. It was worth the drive out here. You know what I'm saying? I know it's kind of late, so I'm going to get you up out of here. But, man, we got Geedy P Speaks on Tapped In Podcast. And, man, appreciate you for coming, man.
And we out, like Boo said, I fuck with some real niggas that's from New Orleans. From New Orleans. Head busting forward.
Yeah. Salute.